At it again, and I come with great news. Well, if you're of the same mindset that I am of, I has, goodness gracious, I'm talking like Joe Biden here. I have some great news, all right? Now, amidst all of the calls for Joe Biden to step aside and step down, right, from a lot of Democrats at this point, I believe there is like a slight shift in the tone, just a touch, right? Now, some of the donors aren't shifting their tone. There's been reports that a lot of the mega donors that were donating to the Biden-Harris campaign are withholding their funds. All the while Trump is just raking it in. And I hope we continue to donate to Uncle Trump and make that war chest so massive that it is scary to look at if you're a Democrat, right? Because I want to win. I think I've made that clear. Well, I've got some good news. And I've got a clip that's going to back it up a little bit, all right? But before we get into that, I do want to show you guys a little prequel, should I say, where Joe Biden had a press conference, as I'm sure you guys have heard, and he had a few gaffes. And I'm showing you guys this because the clip that I'm going to show you, or the video that I'm going to show you, is going to kind of reference these clips or this press conference, okay? It is a video where a gentleman is asking some lady some questions about Joe Biden and if they're still going to vote for him and if he's still fit for office, that whole sort of thing, all right? With that being said, let's dive in.
What concerns do you have about Vice President Harris's ability to beat Donald Trump if she were at the top of the ticket?
Look, I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be vice president, but I think she was not qualified to be president. So let's start there. Number one.
Vice President Trump. Okay. All right. I wouldn't have minded a Vice President Trump, right? Back a while ago, you know. Now I want President Trump and Vice President Donalds or Vice President Elder, right? Unfortunately, I don't think those guys are on the short list. I've heard some rumors of some people that are on the short list, and it is going to possibly be Vice President Vance or Vice President Rubio. I would love to hear Trump's reasoning for picking those two individuals. I'm not the biggest fan of those two, Rubio or JD Vance, actually kind of the same reason. But maybe I'll get into that once the pick comes, all right? I think I've touched on it a little bit before, but I'll definitely make a video once the pick is in, all right? But my two favorites, and a lot of you agreed, my two favorites are Byron Donalds, who is the most similar to Trump in my humble opinion, and Larry Elder. That guy can debate with the best of them, and we watched it. And that's what I think we need from a Republican. I have never watched Larry Elder lose a debate. And I've never watched Byron Donalds back down from anything. Those two guys, they know their stuff, and they know it well. All right? But let's get into this next clip that I want to show y'all. That is just as wild as that last one. Check it out.
And now I want to hand it over to the president of Ukraine, who has as much courage as he has determination. Ladies and gentlemen, President Putin. President Putin. He's going to beat President Putin. President Zelensky. I'm so focused on beating Putin, we got to worry about it. Anyway, Mr. President.
I'm better.
You are a hell of a lot better. And now.
So in Biden's defense, he saved himself just a little bit there, which, hey, I'm cheering him on. Because let me tell y'all this. Now that the mainstream media has let the genie out of the bottle and they've actually told the truth about Biden, there's no way that they can actually go back. So now they're stuck between a rock and a hard place. Joe Biden's not backing down, and we just were bashing him and exposing the truth about him. So what are we going to do here? And yeah, he had a gaffe, but he actually corrected the second one, which didn't make it look as bad. I mean, it was still bad, but wasn't as bad, you know? So now there won't be as strong of calls because he didn't have one of the terrible moments like he did during the debate, right? So hey, I'm happy for it. But check out what this panel has to say, and I think this panel spells doom for the Democrat Party. Check it out.
Senator Gary Tuchman has been talking to a group of seniors in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Gary, what have you been hearing?
Well, I understand we are in the battleground state of Michigan, in the western part of the state. This is the Portage Senior Center, where seniors between the ages of 50 and 150 could come for exercise and fun. These ladies, we have 7 ladies here, all of them like Joe Biden. None of them are voting for Donald Trump, but we want to see how they feel about the problems that Biden has been having and how they thought his news conference just went. Now, out of all 7 of you, how many of you think it was better than you expected, this news conference? How many think it was better than you expected it would be? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many of you think it was worse than you expected it would be? How many of you think it was the same? So overall, it's a fairly positive review. I know we were watching it together. They all just got out of exercise class. So that's why they're dressed like that. I told you I would tell everybody that. But we were watching it together, and when he confused the names of Trump and Harris when talking about vice presidents, you all kind of gasped. But it got better, right? Is that what you think? Now, 4 of you, 1, 2, 3, 4, all of you think that Biden should be staying in the race. You told me you think that he should pass the torch. The 2 of you weren't decided. My question for you, you weren't decided before this happened if he should stay in the race. How do you feel now after watching this news conference?
Relieved, and I think he should stay in.
So your opinion's changed? From not sure to he should stay in?
Yes.
Okay. And how about you? How do you feel? You weren't sure. How do you feel now?
Same. I think he's the logical choice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you thought he should pass the torch. How do you feel right now?
I still believe he should pass the torch.
And why do you say that?
I think he conveyed more defensiveness versus confidence, and I think we are really craving to be able to be confident about the candidate that we carry into the November election.
How did you feel about this news conference just now? Did it give you more confidence in Joe Biden?
I have all the confidence that I did yesterday. So I just.
Were you confident yesterday?
Yeah, because everybody has a bad day. And I could see that he was sick, but for some reason they decided to do.
With that, I think what came across was that of what he is. Joe Biden is very caring about people. He's very knowledgeable and experienced, and he's not just out for himself, that he really cares about the country.
And there's no chance that you would be more confident with the Kamala Harris or your governor here, Whitmer, here in the state of Michigan.
Right. Yeah. I think Joe Biden did an excellent job.
During this news conference. Mm-hmm. But was there any part of you before this that said, I'm not so sure that I can still support him and I want another Democrat?
I've always been confident in him.
Any of you going to be watching the Republican National Convention? It starts Monday. No hands going up. Democratic National Convention 5 weeks after that? Okay. Not all these people are Democrats, some are independents, but they all like Joe Biden, and it's fair to say that none of you are going to be switching to Donald Trump. Thank you all for joining us. Anderson, back to you.
Gary Tuchman, thanks so much. And I'm glad they got their workout in. I did not. So they're ahead. The news.
Now, on its surface, right, that may seem bad for Trump and Republicans because you had these ladies here that essentially said there at the end that there's no way in HE double hockey sticks that they're going to support Uncle Trump. But let me tell you why it's good. See, you got to read between the lines, got to dig a little deeper than just the surface here. There have been growing calls to push Joe Biden out, including from donors, big donors that have contributed a lot of money to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's campaign. They have frozen those funds. When you have this type of situation, and when you have mainstream media come out in the fashion that they did immediately after the debate, calling for Joe Biden to step down and step aside, it's terrible, it's bad, he's unfit, all of these things, and his team is sending out questions to interviewers ahead of time so that he knows the questions, yada, yada, yada. Once you let that out, you cannot rebottle that. It's out there for forever. And so when you have a situation like that, when you have every single poll there is imaginable saying that Joe Biden is going to lose, and yet the voters, right, as you just saw there, are still cheering on Joe Biden, you've got a major problem on your hands. Get what I'm saying? You know you're going to lose. They know they're going to lose. That's why they want Joe Biden replaced. But how do you replace a guy that the Democrat voters voted for in the primaries and they still want him? The voters still want Joe Biden. You heard him even mention Gretchen Whitmer, the governor of Michigan. You heard him mention her there, I can't remember his exact words, but he basically said, hey, you don't think Gretchen would do a better job? And she said, no, I think Joe Biden's the guy for the job. So as an elite in the Democrat Party, there's no way you're going to be able to replace him without the voters' consent. And if you do, they may revolt. See the pickle that they're in now? You know you're going to lose, and yet you can't do anything about it because the voters said who they want. And you are the party that has been screaming about democracy, 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 even though we live in a constitutional republic. Well, if you truly believe in a democracy, the people voted. The people made their choice loud and clear. Joe Biden made his decision to stay in the race loud and clear. Let's go. They're in trouble. They're in major trouble. And honestly, I'm cheering on folks like these ladies here that, are cheering on Biden still. That's who they voted for. Stick beside him. Part of me actually respects it a little bit now. Stick beside him. Don't be a traitor like your party's elites. At the first sign of discomfort or a bumpy road, your party's elites say, nope, get rid of him. Get him out of here, coach. Send him back to the bench. But the voters are like, nah, we're going to stick beside him. I love it. 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 So yeah, they're in a bit of a pickle here, and I don't see a way out. I really don't. Unless one of you guys got something, I genuinely don't see a way out. When the voters say no, we want Biden, how do you replace him? I mean, sure, you can anyway, but you are the party that's been screaming democracy, democracy, democracy. So that's really going to look bad. That one's going to blow up in your face. And you have an issue with the voters revolting against that because of the person that they chose. Not only that, but because of your race politics, your DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, you have a person who calls herself black, Kamala, who's waiting in the wings. You can't skip over her. Try that if you want to. They are going to definitely meet the monster they made if they skip over Kamala. They've got a Kamala Harris problem as well. They can't skip over her. Their choice is Biden or Biden. Maybe, excuse me, a distant third would be Kamala. You can't skip over the black woman, right? Just saying. Just saying. Let me know if y'all agree. Stay safe out there. Peace and love. I'm out.